I just can't get away from a good time.
All right, so I am here with one Mr. Lee Mason, the current cruise director on the Carnival Mardi Gras. And I say current because there's been an announcement this week. I don't know if anybody has heard about it, but the gentleman on my right here has been awarded the Carnival Celebration, and he will bring out the Carnival Celebration in all its glory as the new cruise director, the first cruise director of the beautiful Carnival Celebration. And what kind of emotions must that have been when you found out that you were going to become the cruise director of the Carnival Celebration? That must have been just, I don't even know how to describe it.
It's a huge honor, if I'm honest with you, Coach. It's a big deal to be the first cruise director on a vessel. For personally, right? First of all, on a personal level, to be able to look back and say, I was the first cruise director on that ship is huge bragging rights.
Absolutely.
But professionally, to be trusted to deliver that experience, to be the first person to pioneer that ship, to introduce that product, the new shows, and everything else that's going to be involved in it. That's a huge honor that the company would trust me with the new baby.
Absolutely. And this is the first ship that you will have brought out?
Yes.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
I mean, that is, and I mean, these ships, again, the amount of money. What's it?
Right.
Do you know the amount of money the Carnival Celebration?
Oh,
roughly?
my word, off the top of my head, I don't.
But it's like, I know it's at least hundreds of millions of dollars, right? If not a billion plus or something like
I
that.
wouldn't be able to afford it.
Yeah. Well, if you could afford it, then I need to look into try to become a cruise director because that's the type of job that I want. But in all seriousness, as we discussed via Messenger and things like that, this is the first time I've got to experience you on a cruise ship.
Yes.
And when I was doing research on everybody's favorite cruise directors, people kept sending me Lee Mason. And I'm like, what is going on with this guy? So I had to look up video and everything like that. And you have fulfilled the hype, you have matched the hype. So I will say, it's just, well, and truth be told, we just came out of the Platinum and Diamond party. And I told Lee, at the conclusion that I've gone to a lot of those, and that is the first one that I loved. There's a part in there. There were so many wonderful stories that you got from the audience members that were Diamond and Platinum that, they were heartwarming. Like I said, I even got almost teary-eyed at one point in the thing because they just shared so much information. And I had told Lee, I'm going to share that normally when I film something on a Diamond and Platinum party, I show 15 seconds or whatever. I'm going to put that whole thing out there because people need to see it. That was one of them. That was the first one back.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's great. So the first question I wanted to get to is the celebration is obviously the sister ship to the Mardi Gras.
Yep.
And Christine Duffy has called the Mardi Gras a game changer. And you've obviously been, on the Mardi Gras a ton.
Yeah.
And will be soon departing for a much deserved break. But in what ways has the Mardi Gras, you think, changed the game and the celebration to follow and Jubilee after that? How has that changed the game for Carnival and what it offers the Carnival Cruisers?
Great question. And much like our very first ship opened up cruising to everybody, that first ship pioneered the fun, right? This ship was called Mardi Gras for a very specific reason, because we were reintroducing fun to our family. We have the only roller coaster at sea on the top of this ship. If that's not pioneering, I don't know what is.
Right.
But also, everything that we had done up until this point had been quite similar. The Conquest class ships, the design, quite similar to the Dream class, which is reminiscent within the Vista class design, there was a very similar model. This ship is so different.
Right.
The deck layout, the amenities that we offer, the food options. There is so much delicious food on board this ship.
Absolutely.
The center stage entertainment product with aerial performers. It's the first time on a Carnival cruise ship that during a show, you have dancers on the stage and dancers in the air above your head.
Right.
It's so exciting. We have 2 comedy clubs. We're here in the Punchliner Comedy Club,
Right.
but we've also got the Limelight Lounge, which is a second comedy venue.
It's amazing.
It is so exciting and so new and so fresh. And I think this ship offers incredible repeatability. A lot of our guests like yourself, you come back time and time again because you know what we are and you've been there, you've seen it, it's familiar, it feels like home.
Absolutely.
Whereas this ship is that big and there's so much to see and do. I personally think you could come back 3 or 4 times and have a very different experience every time, dependent on what you choose to do, where you decide to eat, what you choose to see and do in the day. This ship is very exciting for all of us.
Absolutely. And to your point,
Yeah.
the ship is so different. And I've been on many cruises,
Mm-hmm.
and I was intimidated. I don't know if that's the right word.
I can understand.
Intimidated in a good way.
Yeah.
But I was so unfamiliar with the layout and everything. I was kind of getting lost. I mean, it is such a massive ship. And I've been on here a week.
Yep.
I still haven't gotten up to see the boat roller coaster.
What?
I'm going to.
You
I'm going
gotta.
to. But I'm going to be on here next week. That's the only reason I haven't.
Okay, yeah.
If just because I knew I was going to be. But there's just so much to experience and so much
Yeah,
to
there
do, and all the wonderful new bars, the eating venues.
Yep.
I mean, it's just looking forward to the steakhouse tonight. I mean, I know that's on most Carnival ships, but it's it's really a game changer
It really
in
is.
terms of the food and everything else that's new that's offered. And somebody that's an avid cruiser, like myself, that's been on a bunch of Carnival, this is a total new experience. It's a total new experience. The shows, the entertainment, could you tell us about a few of the shows? Because I've seen 2 of the shows that you recommended.
Yep.
The Love in Vegas, is it?
Yes.
And then yesterday
Voodoo
was
Moon.
yes, and then I'm looking forward to tonight's, which is I forget.
We Are One.
Yes. Okay. So you obviously know, but those were phenomenal. Those are the best shows I've seen. I was a huge fan of Celestial Strings, which we saw, which was amazing once again. But the aerobatics and the actors and dancers and everything flying through the air in some of these shows is just incredible. And I feel like that's a game changer as much as anything on this ship.
Absolutely. And that venue, center stage with that huge LED wall that flips and rotates with the different panels that can stow away and open that beautiful panoramic window. Like, technically that space is revolutionary for us.
Right.
And the technicians involved in making the magic happen, I take my hat off to. The shows, Love in Vegas, bring the bright lights of Las Vegas to our stage. And the song selection is so wide. We go from like Kanye West to Elvis Presley.
And it works.
And it works, right?
Yeah.
And then you add in the aerial performers, like you say, the singers, the dancers, the live band.
Yes.
Now, for the longest time, our playlist productions were done to perform to pre-recorded music. And our guests were like, oh, we miss the days where you had the band. And gradually, we listen, right? Gradually, we introduce live music elements back in. So like Vintage Pop and Celestial Strings have live music elements, and more Cubano, live music elements. And then when we got here, we've arrived at shows with a full band again, with a brass section. So we have live music, live vocals, dancing, aerial performers. It's electric. Voodoo Moon is another level because it's quite theatrical. There is a story there. There's intense character. Whereas I feel like Love in Vegas is bright and glitzy and there's a lot of spectacle. Voodoo Moon is a little more theatrical. And then tonight's show, We Are One, has such an incredible message at the heart of it. Without spoiling it too much for your audience, because I'd love them to come sail Mardi Gras and to experience the show. But the cast, they go around the world recognizing and celebrating the different cultures and festivals from all around the world. And their base costume is one sort of like flesh-colored suit.
Okay.
And as they go around the world, they pick up different accessories to represent the different festivals and celebrations. And at the very end of the show, they take those accessories off and the guests stand there just in those flesh-colored suits and they take a bow. And I think it's so beautiful in an artistic way because to me it says the only thing that differentiates us is our customs and the way we dress. But underneath it all, we're all one. It's such a beautiful piece.
It sounds amazing.
Check it out tonight.
I for sure will.
Yeah.
I will for sure will. I can't wait to see it. Okay, so let's move on. So you're the face of Mardi Gras right now as cruise director, and soon you will be the face of the Carnival celebration. So one question I have is, you have to be available, and you seemingly are available all the time for all the guests at different events and things like that. When do you find some lead time? When can you escape and get just a little bit of time for yourself?
Well, it's not even necessarily about escaping, right? I'm one of these very strange people. I say strange, fortunate people, right? Because I work a job that I love.
Right.
People often talk about work-life balance. And where I found harmony is not trying to separate the two and to compartmentalize work time and me time. I just have like a work life.
Right.
I love what I do. I live through my work and I love my work at the same time. Port days, if you're thinking about when do I get downtime to just decompress, port days are the best time for a cruise director to really unplug. You'll often find us out in port, much like the guests go out, right? Go out and we'll find a beach or a nice restaurant, a cafe or something, somewhere with Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Alternatively, that's a great opportunity to nap.
Right.
Cat naps are a cruise director's saving grace.
I'm sure.
But I genuinely love my job, and I know it sounds cliche or a little like Kool-Aid sipping, but I love it. And I love the people that I get to meet. So being accessible, while for maybe the cynical few would say, oh, you know, it's all PR and it's, you know, he's working on ambassadorship. It's really one of the highlights of my job, meeting people like yourself, sharing stories, learning about you and your passions, who you cruise with, where you've been, your values. Because the more I listen to you, the more I learn about what our guests enjoy, and the more I can feed that back up to the office, and we can cater and share this experience and everything that we are. So yeah.
Well, and obviously you are at the absolute top of your class, and everything you just said, I agree with 100%, because you can't fake that. You really can't fake that. And I think the top cruise directors like yourself, I mean, you absolutely do love your job, and it shows. You know, it's not an act when, you know, you look surprised. I mean, you genuinely love, you know, everything that you're doing, and you're laughing, you're excited, you're everything. I mean, so that definitely shows through you. And, you know, like I said earlier, I mean, it's you know, credit to you. But I mean, what's the expression, when you love what you do, you never work a day in your life?
Absolutely.
So absolutely, and that you are the poster for that expression. So that definitely shows. So, you know, to kind of follow up along with, you know, you say you go into port, and the port days are your moment to kind of get a little nap and maybe a little beach time and relax and everything. So you are just a couple weeks away from getting a much deserved break.
Yeah.
But you have a much deserved break before becoming the cruise director of the Carnival celebration, which, you know, I'm sure you have a lot of anticipation and everything else like that. So what are you going to do to relax for your much deserved break? And are you going to be able to relax, because you're going to be the cruise director of the Carnival? Is that even possible? Like, can you even relax during your break here with the anticipation of getting on board the Carnival celebration?
I mean, I am like electrified at the prospect of going and joining that ship. My vacation, I'm going to go see my mom and my nan. because those two women, they brought me up, right? They are my family unit. So I'm going to get some much needed family time. I love photography. I love taking photographs.
Oh, okay.
So I've got a friend who's actually a cast manager in the Playlist cast, who's got vacation at the same time as me.
Oh, very nice.
So we're going to meet up with a friend and take a photography trip and just go. And that's a great distraction for me as well, like taking photographs. And I suppose it's a creative outlet. So I'll go do that and that'll distract me for a couple of days. But I'm always thinking about work and the guests and the experience. And I've got my Facebook page that I stay connected with everyone, and my Instagram page that I stay connected with our guests as much as I can. Even when I'm on vacation, I try to, remain connected, because if not, that inbox would just be like, whoa.
Yeah.
And then I get to see my girlfriend. She's going to be in rehearsals actually out in Miami. So I'll come out to America, go visit her while they're in the studios in Davie, Florida, where they prepare.
Is she in a
She's in the Playlist cast.
Oh,
Not on this ship though. She's just finished on the Breeze.
Oh, very.
I met her on the Splendor.
Okay.
And it went that well that she decided to keep me around.
All right.
And
Beautiful.
she's from England as well, so we live like an hour and a half away from each other. So it's quite convenient, and we get along really well.
Oh, that's awesome.
She puts up with the smell. John Heald suggested that she's blind and has no sense of smell because she'd be with me. But we do really well. So we'll get some time together as well. And I'm just gonna try my best to unplug. But I've already considered taking a cruise. How crazy is that?
Well, yeah, you should be on the other side of it, right? And you get to sit back and watch everybody else, do the type of job that you do. So yeah, I can understand that completely.
Yeah.
Will you and your girlfriend be on the celebration?
Oh, I hope so. Right? There's no guarantees.
Right.
So my hope is that we can work together and be on the same ship eventually. That
would be awesome.
That's the ideal for the romantics out there. That's the
ideal.
ideal.
And I know, because I've spoken with some bartenders and things like that are married, and I've heard that Carnival tries to accommodate
relationships,
requests and things like that. So I hope that works out and that you're able to do that. So let's see here. Do I have one more question? I think I do. Oh, actually, no, before that. So, I mean, obviously you have this new, you're going on the Carnival celebration, you're going to be the cruise director, bringing out your first ship and everything. So obviously that's going to be a long time in it. But, is there any other ambitions through Carnival or anything else you see yourself doing potentially beyond a cruise director? And some capacity like that.
I mean, Mike Pack, an incredible cruise director that paved the way. He brought this ship out, and a good friend of mine. Mike is now fleet cruise director, responsible for training and developing my peers, the new cruise directors that come through, and anyone that maybe you'll pop in and just do a visit, support visit. I'd love to go into training and developing one day.
Oh, awesome.
But I did tell my friends in the office, I was like, I've got a list, like a professional bucket list of things that I want to achieve and do before I can consider moving on.
Right.
For me, I think if you want to inspire greatness in others, you have to feel fulfilled or like you've achieved yourself. And maybe that's just my ego talking, but in order to feel validated, there's a couple of things that I'd like to check off to say I've been able to do that, even if it's just for the case of being able to sit in a chair and say, oh, when I was a cruise director, I remember back in 2023, and to be able to reference achievements that I've made.
Right.
So yeah, there's a few things that I've got to check off yet
before
I consider going into like a land-based or a fleet position, but maybe one day, who knows?
Well, I tell you what, if you're in the business of training cruise directors, I think you could definitely show everybody how it's done. I mean, obviously they're trusting you with the celebration and bringing her out.
Yeah.
I don't think you can get a much bigger honor than that. That's about as high of honor as it goes. So I have one final question.
Hit me with it.
I need a scoop, and I think I have a scoop.
Okay.
Okay, because you're all over the ship.
Yeah.
And it seems like sometimes you're all over the ship. You're here, you're there, you're there. Is there more than one Lee Mason
Busted.
on the ship?
I'm a
thought
triplet.
So. That explains it, because as you mentioned earlier, you're answering social media, you're in Grand Central, but then you're on the Lido deck, and I feel like I have some coach cruisers and little stakeouts around the ship. They're like, oh, I saw Lee up here on deck 15. Well, now he's down here on deck 6. So yeah, what? Give us the scoop.
Okay, basically between Arnold Donald and Christine Duffer, they've mastered cloning people, and they do it to all of us. There's like 7 donkeys. We've got 3 Mike Packs who goes to different ships.
Okay.
Emma Pack, one of them's at home. She's had the baby, but Emma's out there. Kindle Fire is a popular one, so I think there's 15 Kindles right now. No, but honestly, it's a big job,
right?
And it's one of the hardest parts of the job. The balance between being visible and not being overwhelming.
Right.
Because as a new cruise director, when I was finding my feet and establishing myself, it's finding that balance between not coming across as overwhelming or meddling in everything. And as time's gone on, I've learned to trust in the fact that when I do Family Feud, for instance, that's great exposure. So I don't have to like sneak into the comedy club and introduce a comedy show, because my comedy club host, T, does that.
Right.
Dara does it in the Limelight Lounge.
Right.
So I can make connections with our guests organically, and it's important that we do it genuinely, right?
Right.
So I'll go and grab a coffee and talk with people at the coffee shop. Or like I bumped into you in the elevator lobby.
Right.
And just have organic conversations with people out and about. I like to walk the Lido buffet. 1, because it's a great place for me to eat. And 2, it's a great place for me to meet people.
And I love that, you just touched on it, but that personal connection. And I know, on a ship like this, you have 6,000 people, 6,000 guests. There's no way you can possibly, run into everybody. But, you mentioned Kindle Fire a while ago. That's one of the things, I've enjoyed her on cruises as well. Just what you did. I mean, we've talked a couple times. I saw you on the Serenity deck, and we talked for a little while. The elevators, as you mentioned, we talked for a while. And just to have that personal connection, just if it's only a few seconds, you make that connection. I think that is one of the best things I find about cruise directors is you being able to make people feel a little bit more special, and you do that masterfully. And, I think Kendall,
she's incredible.
Has done a great job of that as well. And I mean, there's many great cruise directors, but I think that's one of the top things. And even your social media, being able to reach out and touch. And that's where I'm wondering, how do you find the time? Because even in a channel like mine, I find it difficult sometimes to answer all the questions and things like that. And here, I know you're working 7 days a week, running around, doing it. And for you to find that time to make those connections with people, I find truly remarkable.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, and I thank you so much for taking the time to share with everybody, your life as a cruise director. And, this week, I mean, just a couple days ago, officially announced the cruise director of the new Carnival Celebration. It's just been wonderful meeting you, and I thank you again so much for taking.
If I can, with one thing before I let you wrap things up. 2 points. 1, I know you, and it was very flattering when you said like top of my class, but there's so many great cruise directors out there, and just because I've been given the honor of bringing out Celebration, it doesn't make me any bad than the incredible team that are out there that do such an awesome job.
Oh, sure.
And secondly, and this one is huge, like and subscribe. Ring that notification bell so you know when this man is posting more videos.
I appreciate that, you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Lee. And the amazing Lee Mason. And he's on Facebook. And it's Lee, your cruise director. So yeah, definitely. So I'm subscribed. I'm definitely part of that group, and I enjoy all the updates that I get from the Carnival Mardi Gras, and I'll soon be getting updates from the Carnival Celebration. So I can't wait to get those updates. So thanks again, Lee.
Cheers,
Get away from a good time.